History can teach you a lot if you take the time to look. Through research on structures, power, and the power elite, there is a pattern to recognize in this cycle. This cycle has been used throughout history, and you will probably recognize this, but not be fully aware of it. Here are 5 steps to recognize the world in your favor. The first step of the cycle starts with demoralize. The powers that should not be start the cycle endlessly spreading bad news through media, spreading debt by central banks, creating recessions and depressions influenced by currency and market. The demoralization of the population of a country or religion in which they want to change the power structure. Destabilize, creating friction, magnifying differences between rich and poor, religions, races, working people versus unemployed, natives versus immigrants, etc. Especially the creation of false division and exploitation by installing fear, orchestrating crisis. After step 1 and 2, it is easy to create the desired spark, which does flare up the desired crisis. The known false flag attacks, like 9/11 in the US, the attacks in France, Madrid 3/11, bombings in London, etc. They finance both sides in wars, such as World War II and the ongoing war in the Middle East. Forcing legislation. After the crisis, undesirable legislation will come into place. This will remove privacy and rights of the people. There is a lot done under the name of security that were a reaction to previous orchestrated crises. Normalize. After each change, the new standard should be made the new normal. Before a new cycle can be started, you need the people to conform to their new imposed reality. This is done through changing everything one bit at a time. So, this is how the game is played. Deceptively simple, but when you look back, it has been proven to be very successful. Recognition is the first step towards improving. Recognize this method and see how it is being used against you. Only when you recognize the use of the method, you can take steps to improve the situation. It is all about problem, reaction, solution. They create a problem, the public reacts, and after this they propose a solution in their favor to accomplish their goals. This is also the motto of Masons. Order out of chaos.
I just turned on the TV. I literally just turned it on, and I just had to laugh because within seconds of turning it on, this happened right here. Add this as one more curiosity to this whole China explosion thing in Tianjin. Here we go.
Telling him the ambulance was arriving.
As he makes his recovery, along with more than 700 others who are in the hospital, 33 in extremely critical condition.
Do you hear it? 33 in extremely critical condition. We've already documented how they're coding this number into this incident. You just have to ask yourself, why? All right, Truth Seeker, until next time.
In a letter dated 22 January 1870, Mazzini wrote to Pike. Now, Albert Pike is this high mason who wrote the manual, if you like, of Scottish Freemasonry. He said the following: "We must allow all of the federations to continue just as they are. It must appear as things are as they were in the beginning, with their systems, their central authorities, and diverse modes of correspondence between high grades of the same right, organized as they are at present, but we must create a super right, which will remain unknown, to which we will call those Masons of high degree, whom we shall select. With regard to our brothers in Masonry, these men must be pledged to the strictest secrecy. Through this supreme right, we will govern all Freemasonry, which will become the one international center, the more powerful because its direction will be unknown." Now, Albert Pike wrote a letter to Mazzini, and that was dated August 15, 1871, in which he propagated that there should be a world order, a one order where all nations are under the control of one central organization. And in order to achieve this, they planned, and there are numerous quotes for this, so I've put a number on the screen because some will say, I don't trust this, I don't trust that, I don't trust the other. Here are references down there, there are references up there, there will be references in other slides, so it comes from different sources. He said, and this was, by the way, on display in the British Museum and could be seen there until it was taken away. The First World War, to overthrow the power of the Tsars in Russia, protector of orthodoxy, and bring about an atheistic communistic state. Did that happen? Yes. Now that was written long before this event. Long before this event. This was written in 1871. This war broke out in 1914. The Second World War, that's also written long before the event, to originate between Great Britain and Germany, to strengthen communism as antithesis to the Judeo-Christian culture, and bring about a Zionist state in Israel. Did it achieve this objective? Yes. In fact, after this war, Israel, in its present form, was reinstated under the protection of Britain. And then, interestingly enough, a Third World War, a Middle Eastern war involving Judaism and Islam, and spreading internationally. That's fascinating. Is that on the cards, or what do you think?
Here, the police officers, FBI agents, towers, a huge explosion now, waiting to bring out all of us.
Certainly sounds like we are on track. Well, here's another quote, just in case people don't like that quote. Mazzini with Pike developed a plan for 3 world wars so that eventually every nation would be willing to surrender its national sovereignty to a world government. The first war was to end the Tsarist regime in Russia, the second to allow the Soviet Union to control Europe, the Third World War was to be in the Middle East between Muslim and Jews and would result in Armageddon. Interesting. Now, how were they going to do it? Let's read what Albert Pike wrote about these wars and how they were going to be unleashed. He wrote, quote, "We shall unleash the nihilist and the atheist," so the destroyer and the atheist, "and we will provoke a formidable social cataclysm which in its horror will show clearly to the nations the effect of absolute atheism. Origin of savagery and the most bloody turmoil. Then everywhere the citizens obliged to defend themselves against the minority of revolutionaries will exterminate these destroyers of civilization, and the multitude, disillusioned with Christianity, will receive the pure light through the universal manifestation of the pure doctrine of Lucifer. the destruction of Christianity and atheism, both conquered and exterminated at the same time. Wow, what a clever plan. So you rub the two systems which you create up against the other. You create atheism as an antithesis to the Judeo-Christian culture. You have these two clash until they rub each other up, and then out of that you will get a new world order where you have a new religion which is far more esoteric and actually honors Satan. Isn't that a rather clever plan? Well, it's very successful. That is why ORDO ab CHAO is the verse, if you like, that Freemasonry uses. This is one of their documents, remember, that I photographed in a Masonic lodge.